Hello everybody and welcome to Cardiff. Now around about a month ago, if you were watching my channel, you will know that I created a video about how I went to Cardiff and well, it didn't exactly go to plan. So after rethinking my options, I decided to head back to Cardiff to try and ride on some more and very interesting buses, as well as some not very interesting buses. However, I must have chosen one of the worst days to come, as in the evening there's an event on at the local Principality Stadium as well as Cardiff Castle, so the city itself was quite busy, especially the Central Railway Station. However, overall, most of the buses were pretty much on time, so it pretty much all went to plan. However, I've never been to Cardiff Central Station before when there has been an event going on in the city, so it's quite something to see the station being prepared for the event later on. Anyway, here I am at Cardiff Bus Interchange, which is the bus station just around the corner from Cardiff Central, and my first bus soon arrived after the Sky Car arrived. This was the open topper I tried to get on last time. I wasn't aware that it was supposed to be stopping at the bus station, so was it supposed to, or was the bus on some sort of diversion, or was it out of service? Who knows? Anyway, here I am on my first bus, which is the Cardiff Bus Service 63, and this time it was operated by an ADL Enviro 200 Dart with the facelift front. Although this Enviro 200 was quite nice, Cardiff Bus have some longer Enviro 200s which have a very similar engine to some of the Stagecoach Enviro 200s that you will find all across the country, so I would have preferred one of them, which have some very nice Cardiff Bus seats, where this one was more of a dealer stock bus. Maybe it was from dealer stock, I'm not too sure where this bus came from. Anyway, I'm taking this bus through the suburbs of Pontcanna to the Western Avenue stop. Here I am arriving at the Western Avenue stop. From here I'll be taking a short walk to the London Road bus stop so I can catch the number 1 service through Llandaff along to another nearby bus stop, which is only about 3 stops away. However, this was a crucial part to my plan. This would involve the number 1 service, which along with the number 2 and on weekdays the 1A and the 2A forms part of the Cardiff City circular bus services, which sometimes have some very interesting buses on them. For example, on the day I was filming this video, there was a Mercedes-Benz Citaro Hybrid. However, this was on the other duty, not my duty. Today, I just had a normal Mercedes-Benz Citaro 0530, which is a fairly nice motor. However, I didn't sit near the engine only because I had to go on the bus for around 3 stops. If it was further than that, I probably would have sat right next to the engine, which sounds great on some of these Citaros.
The next stop is Manachty Road.
After a nice speedy run along the number 1 service through Cardiff, I was approaching my next stop, which I have no idea how to pronounce. Hopefully you heard the tannoy on this bus, which did pronounce the name of the stop correctly. Guys, I'm not Welsh, so I may butcher a lot of these names, so to avoid butchering them, it's just easier not to say them at all. Anyway, here goes my Mercedes-Benz Citaro 0530 on the number 1 Cardiff City Circular service, with its next major calling point being the local Heath Hospital. Anyway, here I am walking to another nearby stop. Here I am now at my next bus stop, which is the Celtic Road bus stop. And well, let's just say the scenery around here looked very bleak. However, it was great for bus spotting, as although not very many buses stopped at the stop itself, a lot of buses, just like this Cross Cymru Volvo BA Tarali, used the local flyover. After waiting around 12 to 15 minutes and trying to flag down this Citaro, which wasn't even supposed to stop here and was actually on the 9 service, which I wasn't even supposed to be getting, I have a problem with my eyes, which means I can't really see what it says on the destination board. My bus finally arrived, which was a Mercedes-Benz Citaro 0295 on the 35 service. I'll be taking this in a circular around Birchgrove taking it back along to the local interchange, well, in fact, one stop down from the local interchange at another stop. Here I am trundling through the suburbs around Birchgrove and Gabalfa. I wouldn't say that this Citaro was the best vehicle for the 35 route, however it did provide great capacity for what would become a very popular route as we headed back into the city centre. I would say one of the Yutong electric buses or one of the mini Enviro 200s like the one we went on earlier would be a more suitable option for this route. However, it did get very popular, probably because the route only runs every hour, which is very infrequent for a city, especially like Cardiff, where most services run every 20 minutes. After passing through and eventually stopping at the nearby Gabalfa interchange, which is basically a load of local bus stops located around a massive concrete roundabout, which is just awful, here I am arriving at my next stop, which is the St Joseph's Convent bus stop. Here I'll be changing onto the 132 bus service to take me into Cardiff city centre. This service is operated by Stagecoach Transpora and mainly uses Enviro 200 MMCs. I'm sure you can guess what I'm going to get on this route. Now, I was hoping to use the Edward Coaches 400 service. However, surprise surprise, this bus was late. I say surprise surprise because every single weekend this particular service that I was supposed to be getting is late. So to be honest, I kind of had this Stagecoach bus as a backup plan, and it kind of helped a lot, as the 400 service on this particular day was running around 12 minutes late, or at least it was when I was checking the bus at the St Joseph's Convent stop. Anyway, I'll be taking this back into Cardiff city centre, this time at Greyfriars Road.
The next stop is Greyfriars Road.
After negotiating the many road junctions and traffic lights around Cardiff Castle, we finally arrived into the nearby Greyfriars Road bus stop, which is where many of the local and interurban bus services, mainly from outside of Cardiff, terminate from the north. Many of these services operating through the Cardiff city centre and operating from the south of the city terminate at the new Cardiff bus interchange instead. From here, I had to run a little bit, partly because the bus was running early and I didn't want to miss it, and partly because I didn't read the timetable or route map properly. I had to run to catch my next bus, which was the Transpora. Yes, Transpora are back in the south, albeit in Wales, not England. The Transpora bus, Cardiff City Sightseeing bus, which was absolutely amazing. This time around, instead of having a Trident or the branded Enviro 400, I had a London Red Enviro 400, which used to operate with Sightseeing Manchester, which is also part of the Transpora operation, which is still going.
Has been built on a fascinating and varied history, going back at least 2,000 years. The name card. We're now departing.
Here I am leaving the Kingsway bus stop to head on this absolutely amazing tour around Cardiff city centre and Cardiff Castle. I wouldn't be taking this all the way back to Cardiff Castle along the full route. I'd only be taking it to the Wales Millennium Centre, located near Cardiff Bay and Mermaid Quay. This bus was absolutely amazing. It was a great tour. The only thing I would say is that Cardiff Council, or whoever maintains the roads here, need to update the roads, as well, they were just incredibly bumpy and made the bus ride extremely uncomfortable, especially going down Westgate Street. Apart from that though, the tour was brilliant. The only other thing, and this goes for all of the bus routes across Cardiff City, is that the traffic lights take forever. Surely you can speed them up. They don't take this long in England. I don't know about in Scotland, I've never been there. I'd love to though. Glasgow has some amazing buses that, well, I take some interest into them. They look amazing.
Monster Jam, Wales Rally GP, World Championship Boxing, and concerts including King, Taylor Swift, Madonna, Beyonce, Harry Styles, and Ed Sheeran. Heading south from the castle. The church itself was lost to a tsunami that caused catastrophic floods across the southwest of the UK in 1607. Our next stop, the bottom of St Mary's Street, is centre for Cardiff nightlife and gives easy access to the brewery quarter and Mill Lane area.
Here I am passing Wyndham Arcade, located near the new transport interchange, which includes the bus station and Central Railway Station. Now I'd just like to say, whilst we're passing by Wyndham Arcade, that usually on this route you would get a Cardiff City sightseeing Enviro 400, which uses an updated version of the Transpora blue and green livery, which can be seen on mostly double-deckers. However, sometimes you'll find them on older single-deckers, such as Optare Solos and Dennis Darts, up with Transpora Northwest in Blackpool and Fleetwood. However, today I had an Enviro 400, which I didn't even know was in Cardiff. I thought it was still with City Sightseeing Manchester and wears a London red livery. I believe that down here there was also a ex-Stagecoach Trident which just wore the Transpora blue and green livery without any City Sightseeing branding because the other Enviro 400 cooked itself. Who knows what happened? All I'm saying is, don't expect this red Enviro 400. Usually it'll be one wearing the City Sightseeing Cardiff livery, which is an updated version of the Transpora blue and green livery.
That extends south from here. Scott of the Antarctic,
Here I am passing through the dockside area around Cardiff Bay. Now, a lot of the docks, especially in the south, are absolutely dead. They have nothing going for them, at least in the southwest. However, the Cardiff Bay dockside and the docks around the area are absolutely amazing. Lots of things to see and do, and I believe some boats still use them. There's also a lot of factories and industry work still going on in the local area, which is great to see for the city of Cardiff.
From here at Harbour Drive, we can enjoy panoramic views of the 500-acre freshwater inlet that is Cardiff Bay. From there, we can see the barrage that creates its permanent lake, with the Bristol Channel and North Devon beyond. Rising up above is the neighbouring seaside town of Penarth, and immediately in front is Mermaid Quay, the head building, and the centre, home to the Welsh Government. As we turn into Penarth, you will see on the right and on the corner the relocated Customs and Excise building, which now holds the entrance to the Coast Guard Bus. As we turn away from the road exit, keep an eye to your left, when you're getting We're just drawing up to our next stop at the Wales Millennium Centre in the heart of the bay. And as we round the building to our left, you see the variety of materials.
Here I am approaching the Wales Millennium Centre stop located outside the Wales Millennium Centre, as the name suggests, which is the main stopping point in Cardiff Bay. Here I'll be alighting this absolutely amazing E400 Trident, which sounded brilliant through the streets of Cardiff, and transferring onto a Yutong E12, which is absolute crap compared to this Enviro 400, and I'll be taking it on the 6 service back into Cardiff Bus Station near the city centre, otherwise known as the Bay Car route for some reason. Here I am leaving the Wales Millennium Centre on my way back to Cardiff Bus Interchange. Now, as we leave, you can see that there are loads and loads of things for local tourists and locals alike to see and do. So if you're not interested in the historic Cardiff city centre, then I would suggest coming down to Cardiff Bay and Mermaid Quay, as there's loads and loads of things to see and do, especially if you have kids with you. Apart from that, if you're not interested in any of that, then I would say do the Transpora Cardiff City sightseeing route. It was amazing, and we didn't even do the full route. Here I am passing by the Cardiff Bay railway station. Along with many of the other valley lines in the Cardiff area, they are all being upgraded, so it acts as a rapid transit system for Cardiff, otherwise known as the South Wales Metro. At the moment it doesn't look like much, but I believe in the valleys outside of Cardiff they have done an awful lot of work, and at the moment they are still doing work on the Cardiff Bay line between Cardiff Queen Street and Cardiff Bay, as well as building a brand new station at Butte Town. Here I am arriving at Cardiff Bus Station. Although a lot of work is being done around Cardiff and the valleys, I don't think Cardiff, unless they sort out the traffic lights and the condition of the roads, I don't think Cardiff will ever have a perfect transport system. However, I think with the trains, they could possibly achieve it, as they're doing a lot of work at the moment on the Valley Lines area to make it part of the South Wales Metro. So along with the Traw's Cymru network, which operates bus services around rural Wales, mainly in the north, but sometimes in the south as well, I think that Wales as a whole, especially Cardiff, could have a very, very good transport system, better than Bristol, to be honest with you. Bristol's bus network at the moment is a mess, and they hardly have a metro, let alone a few local railway lines. Anyway, here I am getting on my next bus, which, well, let's just say is a disappointment compared to what we've had so far, and this was my second to last bus. This was a right streetlight DF operated by First Cymru. After the bus leaving around 5 minutes late due to ticketing issues with passengers on board the bus, we departed Cardiff Bus Station to head out to Canton. After I alighted the bus at Canton, the bus would continue on to Bridgend and Porthcawl. Since a couple of years ago now, I believe, First Cymru have operated many bus services into and out of Cardiff, the Valleys and South Wales, whereas before COVID, First mainly operated services around Swansea, Carmarthen and West Wales in general, rarely operating services into South and East Wales. As I leave the bus station, we can see another First Cymru vehicle, this time an Enviro 200, which wears a red livery, which I believe used to be branded as Swansea and the Bay, or Neath and Port Talbot, depending on what bus you got, on another local First Cymru service heading towards Talbot Green. I mean, it's got to head to the bus station first, but once it leaves the bus station, it's off to the bus station at Talbot Green. I kind of wish I'd waited for that service, as that Enviro 200 actually looked quite interesting and had some very weird seats for an Enviro 200, and overall, any Enviro 200 is better than a right street light getting later and later. In the end, I just managed to make my bus back into Cardiff city centre. If you're wondering, I might as well tell you now. It was a sensible Citaro 0530. Not the best vehicle in the world, but definitely not the worst vehicle in the world either, especially compared to this right street light. Not too far to go now until we get to Canton Ely Bridge. Here I am arriving at the Ely Bridge bus stop located on the outskirts of Canton, or is it Ely Bridge bus stop? We're nowhere near Ely, so I just assumed it was Ely. After running across the road to try and catch my next bus, which I successfully did, I headed back into Cardiff city centre along the 13 route, which takes a slightly different route than the X2 to Porthcawl and operates via Canton Centre instead of along the main road, whatever that road is called. Here I am on my way back into Cardiff city centre, this time heading via Canton, on this Mercedes-Benz Vitaro 0530. These vehicles with Cardiff Bus have a very weird seating arrangement, but I kind of like it, and the Cardiff Bus seats themselves are extremely comfortable, no matter what vehicle you go on, unless of course it's an E200 Dart like I had earlier, which in that case it has dealer stock seats.
The next stop is Radnor Court.
Here I am passing through the centre of Canton. which is where I passed through a few months ago. I think it was about a month, maybe a bit more than that, on my previous Cardiff Bus video, where I travelled on the 61 and the C1 services in this area. This time, I'm not changing buses. I'm not even getting off, for Christ's sake. Here I am passing around the back of the Principality Stadium. I wasn't too sure what Route 13 would take, heading back into the city centre and eventually reaching Cardiff Bus Station. However, this route is actually quite nice and gives you a very pleasant view of the Principality Stadium. Here I am arriving back at Cardiff Bus Interchange. Now, as the number 13 service was my final bus of the day, I would just like to say thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you for the continued support. I hope you really enjoyed it. It was quite hard to plan, along with a few other things coming in the not too distant future. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. I may come back to Cardiff again, not that soon though, as there are a few other places I would like to visit and revisit before I head back to Cardiff. However, if I do go to Cardiff again, I'll try and get on some of the rarer vehicles, such as the Scania Omnideckers, Scania Irisars, and Scania Fencers. There's a bit of a theme running here. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone!
Oh, we are going the wrong way.
Oh, it's got Barrett's polo. Swap. No.
Yeah.
Me that side, you this side. No, it's going to have to be. And we swap. I can't go backwards.
Come on.
Mum? Yeah?
I didn't see who's going that way.
No, I'm having my own seat. You don't like going backwards? Just sit somewhere else. Yeah, you can sit here if you want. No, it feels like what's a table. You might have to sit.
Half an hour. Half an hour going back.
Right, come and sit over here.
No big deal.
Come and sit with Papa John's. Come on.
Everybody's
Go on, all right.
Go and watch the tickets up in that principality.